Good afternoon and welcome to Nora's Dog Training Company. We're here this afternoon with Willow and Rich, and what we're going to be demonstrating for you today on video is Willow's ability to understand and respond to her formal on-leash obedience commands. The little tiny corrections and a little bit of motivation that we give her when we're working with her and the training equipment that we're using. Rich is using a regular 6-foot web training leash, and he keeps the bulk of the leash folded neatly in his right hand. That leaves his left hand free to give any correction or adjustment that's needed, and the only correction that we give is a little tug and release on the training collar, and that is the second piece of equipment that we're using. Willow is going to come home with her very own training equipment. You're going to be taught how to use that properly during your follow-up training session. Now, I know that she did know some of her commands, but she is an adolescent. She does have a mind of her own, and like Rich says, has some impulse control issues. She is sitting very nicely at Rich's left, which is where all of our obedience training is done. And the first exercise that we're going to demonstrate for you is heeling. Heeling is proper leash walking, and the command is Willow, heel. Now at this point, Willow has a job to do, and that is to maintain pace with Rich when walking. Not forging ahead, but staying right at his left, so that he's leading the walk and her shoulders should stay even with his left leg. If he speeds up or slows down or changes direction, she should do the same. And he watches her, because if you control her head, you control the whole dog. And if you're not watching her and she drops her head on the ground, then you've lost control of her on a walk. And you notice her looking up at him, waiting for direction, which is what we want for you. So this is a great exercise to practice right in your neighborhood. And then you'll be adding the distraction factor. Now the next command that Rich is going to demonstrate is the sit stay. This is an exercise that helps with impulse control. And it is a hand and a voice command, but you don't use her name. It's the one-word command to stay. You're going to lengthen out this sit stay at home. This is your homework. Start out at about 30 seconds and work up to 3 minutes, and it'll take you several months to do that. When Rich returns back to her, he walks all the way around her counterclockwise. He returns to her shoulders and he stops. And at this point, she expects to get another command. He tells her to heel again, and she takes off walking. She is absolutely adorable. She is so feminine, and she can be so ornery and have such a mind of her own at times, but she's done really well. She's a very spirited young lady. You can tell just to watch her work. And she's not at all intimidated by this. Rich keeps eye contact with her on the stays, and this time, instead of returning to her, he's going to demonstrate the come on command. And he keeps his tone very low. He doesn't over-amp her when he calls her, and she's been taught to come and sit. So this eliminates jumping. So even if you're having company over, you can say, my dog is in training, don't pet her unless she's sitting. And you take control of the situation. Because every time you work with her and you introduce her to a new situation and you take the lead, she's going to get better. Stay. Rich uses her name, lightens his tone, and calls her right in, and she comes in. If she doesn't sit, he gives that little tug that we talked about at the beginning of the video, and then he has her return back to heel and back sitting. She's got a good nose. We have a couple of restaurants around here, and she's got her nose up in the air and she's smelling away stuff that we probably can't even smell, but she's got a good nose. Now the next command that we're going to demonstrate for you is the down from a heel position. So with her seated at your left, you take your left open palm, push it straight down toward the ground, and give the one-word command to down and stay. Now your long down stay, you can practice indoors as well as outdoors. She's being goofy. Rich will heel her right out of that and start all over. And that's what I want you to do at home. If she's making a mistake or she's deliberately not doing it, which I think is more likely, you repeat the command. Heel her out of it, get her mind off of the argument that she's trying to have with you, and enforce your command. When Rich returns back to her, he will walk all the way around her just as he did on the sit-stay, stops at her shoulders, and then he goes back to give her another command. So she's got some spunk to her, there's no doubt about it. And she's smart enough to try to get away with things like she just did on that down. If I roll over and be really cute, do I really have to do this? And in fact, yes, you do.
Down. All the way. No. Down. Stay.
And all of these exercises are designed to help to establish, you know, more self-control, more focus, more maturity. And the more you practice with her, the faster that's going to happen. Rich uses his leash to guide her in and have her sit. And your leash is going to be your best friend, and we'll teach you how to use that at home as well as when you're out in public. And the very last command we're going to demonstrate is you're down from a distance. So Rich leaves her in the sit-stay, and he just changes his body position to face her. You're going to lengthen out your distance.
Down. No. Down. Stay.
And she clearly knows it, and then waits for you to give that little correction, and she's like, oh, okay. What did you say? And that's just her personality. She's a tester. Now we have demonstrated for you all of Willow's formal on-leash obedience commands. We're going to have a packet of information for you. We're going to answer any questions that you have about her so that when you get her home, you don't feel like you're on your own. We're always here for you. Pick up the phone. We'll answer any questions. If you need a lesson, we'll come out and work with you at home. We want to thank you for choosing Nora's Dog Training Company, and we will see you soon.